Every time I make a video that is that's got people in the background, it just forgets I have a face, and it's like there's faces behind you that are more important. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about fan edits. I'm assuming the people watching this video are familiar with fan edits, at least as a concept, but if you aren't somehow, to try and explain it, a fan edit is like, you take a song that you like, there's a song that's popular right now or you're just really into, and you put that song to a clip or many clips from a movie. That was a terrible explanation. I'll give you an example that really puts it into the current context, because there's actually a really popular fan edit trend going on right now of this song by Rihanna, Where Have You Been? And people are putting it to movies and TV shows and pop culture figures and athletes. I've seen it for everything. And people are making really cool edits with it. I've seen one from Big Hero 6, Hero from Big Hero 6, and kind of Where Have You Been is telling the story of how Tadashi died at the start of Big Hero 6 and he had to live his life without him. Where have you been all my life? Some of them are brilliant. I saw one for Harry Potter. I haven't watched Harry Potter in almost 6 years now. I last watched it for a video back in 2019. I haven't watched it this decade, and it made me feel things I didn't even know I could still feel about it. And it's the first thing in 6 years that has made me want to watch Harry Potter, that successfully made me want to watch Harry Potter. It's cool, it's creative, it's artistic. It's a great way to just actually learn how to edit, and you learn that you're actually changing the story. You're taking a song and you can transform the contents of whatever you were watching. And it's amazing for Rihanna as well, but it makes me want to listen to that song. You can see loads of these for characters like Steve and Bucky from the MCU. Steve and Bucky, as unfortunate as it is to hear for some people, aren't a couple in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As far as we're concerned, nothing that has happened on screen between them in the Marvel movies has shown any sort of romantic relationship. But people ship them together and make these edits where they take scenes of them together, going I'm with you until the end of the line, and they put it to a popular song, a romantic song, and it completely changes the narrative of what Steve and Bucky's relationship is. It's his learning editing skills. You're having to find clips and resource clips and find these moments where it kind of maybe something implies a little bit something more that wasn't necessarily being implied in the film, but you're catching on to that. And then if you change the music, you can completely transform what's actually happening in that scene, and suddenly it goes from this scene of their brotherly love to a scene of romantic love. I remember 10 years ago I was super in the Harry Potter fandom, and while I wasn't into shipping myself, there were a lot of people in that fandom that were very into shipping, and a big ship in the Harry Potter fandom is Drarry, which is a ship between Draco Malfoy and Harry Potter. And I just specifically remember there were so many edits made of them, specifically with just this one scene from the Half-Blood Prince where Harry and Draco are both in the bathroom and they're having a duel in the bathroom. And in the movie, this is very much depicted as Harry's suspicious of Draco, what he's doing, and he's annoyed at him, and Draco's leave me alone. But people have edited this scene over and over again to songs and romantic music and turned it into this tense, enemies about to realize they're lovers this whole time sort of scene. And it's transformative. It's amazing that people are making this sort of stuff. And it's a really cool thing that has existed for years now on the internet. It was a really big thing on YouTube. You look at some of these videos that have come out making fan edits for some characters like this, they've got millions of views, or especially, I imagine most of the people doing it are young teens with a lot of time on their hands. And I genuinely think it's a really cool thing, if I haven't said that already enough times. But also, it doesn't just stop with these characters that have this potential homoerotic tension between them. People make fan edits for characters that aren't even from the same movies. I remember, 5 years ago, I saw an edit that someone made of Miguel from Coco and Hero from Big Hero 6. Those are two characters, for what it's worth, that are from two different movies, from two different franchises, from two different movie studios. It couldn't be more separate. But someone made a really cool fan edit of them. I want to see if I can actually find it. Yeah, this is it. I think there's copyrighted music, so I'm just going to mute it. Pretend there's music. Look at that. It looks like their faces are up next to each other. They were there in the room. These are from separate movies. It looks like they're looking at each other. Look at that. That edit there. It looked like Miguel, kissed Hero there. They're from separate movies, so they've had to carefully mask Miguel out and get him into Hero's scene, and they've also had to kind of mask Hero out as well so that Miguel can fit behind him, and it looks like he's kissing his cheek. That's really impressive editing skills. I've been editing professionally for YouTube videos for almost 10 years now. I know how difficult something like that is to make. I couldn't do that quickly. And take of that what you will, but it either means that they're a very talented editor or someone spent a lot of time putting that together, and it's really creative and it's really cool. cool. I feel like I keep saying it's really cool. I'm sorry, I need to find maybe a new way of putting it. Also, to come back to Draco and Harry, they don't actually share like that many scenes together, especially in the later movies. They got more stuff in the earlier movies. They got the bathroom scene that everyone used a lot. There's one of those scenes on Malfoy Manor with them together. And therefore, you also kind of don't have that much to work with if you want to make one of these fan edits. And I remember seeing like a really cool one back in the day where someone made an edit from Tom Felton and Daniel Radcliffe's other films since Harry Potter and kind of put them together to make it look like it was Draco and Harry as adults, like interacting and having conversation. And it's so cool. Okay, I found this one as well now. And look, like they've like masked them in together, like as if Draco and Harry are next to each other in this scene. Like, they've, like, got Harry kissing someone there, and they've, like, cropped out the person's face, so it could be implied it's Draco. Look at that scene at the end there. Draco's behind Harry talk. I don't know what films they're from, to be honest, but they're really impressive. Like, you've taken two things from separate things and made a really cool new thing with it. Anyway, the reason I bring this all up and have two pictures of the Harry Potter ship Dramini between Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger behind me actually ties into my last video. To kind of go behind the scenes and break the fourth wall a little bit, this idea literally came to me while editing last week's video. But I was talking about ships at one point in that video, and I mentioned Dramini as a Harry Potter ship, just one off the top of my head. And when I was editing the video, obviously I wanted to have like a visual to kind of just show for anyone who needed a picture who Draco and Hermione were. I probably didn't even need to, but it's just nice to do that, you know? I'm not as familiar with the Harry Potter movies as I used to be, so I was kind of like trying to think like, what scenes do Draco and Hermione have together? I knew there was the scene in the second one where he calls her a mudblood, and there's the scene in the third one where she punches him in the face, and I'm like, is there a scene of them when they're older, maybe in the sixth one or the seventh one or the eighth one together? So I kind of like looked up like Dramini into Google or YouTube to try and just see if there were any clips of them together, especially ones that the fan edits were using of them together, because that resonates with people and is a good scene to use then. And I was just like so confused by what I came across, and have ended up going down just this insane rabbit hole of what I found on YouTube. Let me just show you, okay? First thing that comes up, Draco Malfoy, the boy that had no choice. At first I looked at it, I was like, there was a scene where Draco gave Hermione a hug. It was uploaded a day ago at the time of recording this, by the way, and it has 10,000 views. As you can tell, this is an AI video of Draco ripping a page out of a book. That page is the basilisk, and therefore, Hermione now, and if you remember the Harry Potter movies well, Hermione actually gets petrified in the Chamber of Secrets with a ripped up page of the basilisk in her hand to give them a clue that Salazar Slytherin's weapon was a basilisk, and that's what he was using to terrorize the students of Hogwarts. So it's almost like an AI fan fiction movie giving a new narrative to like Draco is actually the one that gave Hermione the missing piece. I also just want to give hilarious context, in my opinion, as someone who doesn't really see this ship, that Draco literally says moments before this, to my memory, that he literally wants her to die behind closed doors when he's talking to Harry and Ron, thinking they're Crabbe and Goyle while they're under the Polyjuice Potion. Again, I haven't watched these films in a long time. I'm pretty sure he says that, though. And then, like, it just has this whole narrative of, like, oh, now Draco and Hermione are sitting next to each other in class. They went to the Yule Ball together. I don't know if this is, like, a new version of events or if this is something they thought was maybe happening just off screen. It's like... and then the final bit is when Voldemort is, like, terrorizing everyone at Hogwarts. They stand up to him together. So we have the pure blood and the muggle-born witch holding hands, and everyone, all the Death Eaters are shocked. They're like, what is going on? That's just the start of this rabbit hole, because I kept scrolling. We have another one by the same channel, Dramini Studio, where Draco is proposing to Hermione 4 days ago, 34,000 views. Then we have one from 8 days ago, also has 34,000 views, of Draco and Hermione, like, living on Malfoy Manor. From enemies to parents.
Later, in the train carriage, we met again. She held out her hand, and I took it before I knew why.
So I think the narrative of this one is that Hermione meets Draco on the Hogwarts Express instead of meeting Ron, and therefore, like, because obviously she ends up being with Ron, and so therefore it's a whole new version of events where Hermione and Draco create that bond on the Hogwarts Express.
I wore the Malfoy name like armour and tried to believe it. But looked away, and the rules...
Tom Felton, I don't think's given permission for them to use his voice for this, by the way. I've just realised that. Right? They've, like, written a whole narrative and then gotten an AI to generate Tom Felton's voice, and they're making money from it as well. This is just like a 10-minute video here of just like showing this narrative where like instead of like everything, Draco and Hermione create this bond and they do potions class together and you know they fall in love. And in this version of events now where Draco and Hermione have created this bond together and he's fallen in love with her and he proposes to her and you have to just like in the background of the proposal just running away. I'm not joking. They literally get married it's a 10-minute video. Draco and Hermione are getting married in this. What is this? And this is like a whole channel dedicated to this. They do admit that they are using AI for it, and they're generating videos like a few times a week and making many videos and getting like semi-decent views as well. One of them's got 200,000 views and they've only been running this channel for like a couple months, it looks like to me. And this is like a really weird I did a video recently about Simpsons AI and people making like fake AI Simpsons predictions and how it just like gets really immoral really quickly. As soon as you can go on TikTok, you can just find people making videos of like someone who died last week, they predicted it and they've made a fake AI video where the Simpsons predicted recently dead person just died. I really didn't enjoy it because it's like, you know, that is just some greedy person who has seen this as a way to make money and therefore is just profiting off people's deaths, and it's nasty. This one's a little bit weird. I don't like it, but I feel like it's probably a kid. And it's like, is this an example of kids using AI and almost maybe thinking that they're using AI to be creative? I think it's a really sad and like disappointing thing to see because, you know, back in the day, this is the kind of thing that you would have like been looking for different clips and like trying to find the clips of Draco and Hermione together and make a video of. Like, there are famous fan edits on YouTube of Draco and Hermione together where they have found the specific clips of Draco and Hermione in the later films, in the earlier films, and managed to change their story and transform it. Like, they're taking these scenes together, like Hermione's looking over in the Great Hall and Draco's there. Is she looking at Draco? In the movie, she's not, but again, this is the way you're transforming the narrative. Or he's looking over. Oh, Hermione's over there. You know, like, this is what these edits are all about. In The Half-Blood Prince, Draco and Hermione don't really share any scenes together, but someone has managed to make, like, an entire edit of their scenes and kind of make it seem like they're just, like, yearning after each other and, like, where's Draco? Where's Hermione? And now, because you can just generate clips, you can just like basically just rewrite the story. And that's essentially what this account is doing. And if I'm trying to give like the biggest benefit of the doubt in the world to this person, I assume this is just one person doing this. I think they are probably writing fan fictions, putting it into a generator to visualize these fan fictions, and they probably don't see the harm in it. And for what it's worth as well, I can't really find many or any other examples of this. There's another one that does it for Hermione as well on YouTube that I haven't highlighted in this video. But for some reason, it's like very specific to Hermione, and I think it's because they just don't share enough screen time together for there to really be anything to work with, and it's such a popular ship, especially in the Harry Potter fandom. But you know, when there are characters that don't share as much screen time or even don't exist in the same universe, there are still ways to make those edits. As I showed you, there was that Miguel and Hero edit. Also, like, there are people out here making fan art. It's so cool when people make fan art, like, of characters from different things interacting. Like, there's so many common ships of characters from things that don't even share same universes, and there's fan arts made of them together, and this is such a cool way of being creative and, like, finding your spark. This is such a great way to outlet this creativity by making fan edits, making fan art, writing fan fiction. And I think my point is, again, I'm assuming this is a kid. I really don't want anyone to go over and say anything or be nasty to them in any way. But I just don't want AI to take away like this fan edit art that we used to get and we still are getting for what it's worth. And AI cannot create this Harry Potter fan edit that I saw the other day. It can't make me feel what I felt when I saw this Harry Potter fan edit and wanted to watch the Harry Potter movies for the first time in 6 years the other day. This is such an amazing thing that people do and make these edits and spend loads of time putting this together. And we don't want it to get lost for this just easy, oh, I can type it into a prompt and it'll generate exactly what I want it to say, and I can create scenes that don't even exist. I don't even have to do the hard work and look for the scenes that might imply something. We're slowly losing our creativity and abilities to just like look in and try and find a deeper meaning in something that maybe wasn't even looking for the deeper meaning, but you found that deeper meaning inside something that wasn't even trying to give it off. This person who's making this channel clearly has a creative brain. They're thinking up these things and they obviously like have a passion for Hermione, and they should and could be making making like fan art and fan fiction and making fan edits, finding the scenes from the movies, and it could be putting that out there. But it's such a shame that unfortunately they're not, and they're doing this. And I don't know if like we're reaching just this new generation. There's a new generation coming up now that like their creativity is like just being outsourced through AI, and that's kind of sad and scary to me. Not to sound like an old man shouting at the cloud, but I just don't want to see AI ruin something as cool as fan edit. Anyway, I think that's enough complaining about AI for this video, and you know, I'm gonna focus on the positive today, and like maybe just like really try and, if you see a cool fan edit, leave a like on it, and you know, follow that person and keep up with what they're doing, because it's potentially a dying art and we don't want it to die. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to Blue Shames. Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got.